Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Top 3,000 Songs of the Rock Era. Today I'm up to song number 2156, and that one is Rock Lobster by the B-52's. This one was actually released as a promo single in 78, but it charted in 79. Here's a picture of this single. It was a minor hit for them, only went to number 56, but pretty well-known song, kind of put them on the map as a upcoming new wave band. And here's a picture. It was also released on their debut album, just called the B-52's, with the same picture. Here's a picture of the B-52's around the time they recorded it. I'll get into them in a minute. First, I want to feature a sample of the song Rock Lobster and react to it. I might as well go back to the thumbnail. That's the coolest looking picture. Anyway, here's a sample of Rock Lobster.
We were at a party. The dear love fell in the day. Someone reached in and grabbed it. Was a rock lobster. Rock lobster. Rock lobster.
Okay, that's a minute or so of Rock Lobster by the B-52's. It's a very, I don't know, very unusual song. When I first heard it, I really didn't like it at all. I mean, this song came out, I think, when I was 16 years old. I was in high school. My sister loved it. My sister really loved the B-50. She liked a lot of new wave when it first came out. I didn't. It took me a couple of years to really start liking some new wave. I think the only new wave group I liked when I was in high school was Devo. I liked them because they acted like robots, and I kind of felt like a robot myself, I guess. But other than that, I really only mainly cared for mainstream rock, the one they were playing on AM radio. Songs that hit the charts. And in all fairness, this one did go to number 56. So it was a minor hit, but never made the top 40. Even Casey Kasem never played it. And my sister was listening to a lot of other alternative music that I didn't care for, and I guess I kind of lumped the B-52's into that category. But I've come to appreciate them a hell of a lot more over the years. I mean, they did make it big about 10 years later. I'll get into that in a minute too. But I think you guys all know the first big hit was Love Shack in 1989. It was 10 years after this one came out. They didn't even have any top 40 hits until that one. So it took them 10 years from their first Billboard Hot 100 hit, which was a minor hit, this one, Rock Lobster, until their first top 10, Love Shack, which went all the way to number 3. Um, I don't know. So I guess either that means that society had to adapt first in order to accept their music, or else maybe they just got it together by then. I don't know. It was a little bit of both. I don't know. But anyway, enough of that. Yeah, I think it's an interesting song. I do like it now. It's a crazy song though. I only played a minute or so of it. I mean, they go into they make all these kind of imitations of different kinds of marine life, a narwhal and a stingray, piranha. I mean, it was an interesting song, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I guess you just kind of have to have an open mind about it when you hear it. But anyway, enough of that. I guess I've said enough about the song Rock Lobster. Now I'll talk about the B-52's. So they were a new wave band from Athens, Georgia. Um, You may remember the song Love Shack. They say they're heading down the Atlanta highway, so that kind of labeled them as a Georgia band, I guess. Otherwise, you couldn't really tell, I don't think. But anyway, and their original members included the five people shown in this picture: Kate Pearson, Fred Schneider, Keith Strickland, Cindy Wilson, and Ricky Wilson. Unfortunately, Ricky died in 1985. Other than that, they never had any membership changes. They kept the other four members their whole history. They were first together from '76 to '85. I guess they broke up for a few years following the death of Ricky Wilson, but then they reunited in '88, and they've been together ever since. They're still together, so they've had a lot of longevity. And anyway, now I'm just gonna go through their hits. Their first hit is the one I'm preaching today, Rock Lobster. Like I said, that one went to number 56. Following year 1980, they had a song called Private Idaho, which went to number 74. And then in 83, they had a song called Legal Tender, which went to 81. And then, it wasn't until 1989 they had their next hit, which I mentioned already, Love Shack. I think that's their most well-known one. But I was waiting number 3. And the next year they had a song called Rome, which also went to number 3. Then they have the Dead Beat Club, which went to 30. And then 1992 they had a song called Good Stuff, which went to 28. And finally, in 1994 they had Meet the Flintstones, which went to number 33. And I think you guys were probably all familiar with Meet the Flintstones. It was a theme song to the very popular TV cartoon called The Flintstones from the 1960s. And it was so popular that they turned it into a live action movie in 1994. I've never seen the movie. Um, Sir John Goodman, I guess, is Fred, and Rosie O'Donnell is Wilma. I don't know. The reason I mentioned it is because the B-52's sang the theme song, which I think was pretty good. I remember hearing the theme song a few times. They do kind of their own style. It was such a popular theme song, it was even featured in the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I don't know if you guys remember the scene where John Candy's singing it on the bus, and everybody sings along. Steve Martin tried to sing Three Coins at a Fountain, nobody wanted to sing that. So that's a pretty funny scene. But anyway, I guess that's all I have to say about Rock Lobster by the B-52's. So thank you for watching. You guys rock. This guy's holding a rock, but according to B-52's, it wasn't a rock, it was a rock lobster. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.